Now, what if I told you that the best thing that could ever happen to you is if everything just fell apart? I mean, most people fear the collapse. Most people think that destruction or demolition is the end to everything. But the truth is, destruction isn't the enemy. It's the invitation. It's really the starting point. It's the blank canvas, if you will. If you ever seen a demolition, or if you ever seen a building collapse or fall, it's a strange feeling as it crumbles down. You kind of feel that feeling of despair, and you really think that it's the end. But not a genius. A genius looks at this as the start of a new beginning. A genius now gets the opportunity to rebuild. For example, if you ever lost a job, that's maybe the end of that career, but it's the start to something you're passionate about. Or say you might have like a failed relationship. It's not like that's the end of love. Maybe that's just the start to more self-discovery of who you are. When we fail or have failures, it's not proof that we're not good enough. It's more so raw material for greatness. In life, we may get broken down. We may go through hardships. We may face certain situations that destroy us mentally and physically. But in reality, we're just clearing the space for something new, for something greater, and ultimately rebuilding something that has a longer lasting stand. But yeah, man, it's your boy AP, back at it with another video, man. Got the horror hat on today because this video is all about reconstruction and how you can have a genius perspective into this whole idea of rebuilding and renovating, and you know how when things collapse or when certain part of our lives seem like it's all over, ultimately as geniuses we should believe that this is just the opportunity to rebuild and restructure and redevelop different areas of our lives into something that's truly greater. But yeah, man, without further ado, let's keep the energy rolling. Let's get into it. So first I want to speak about Steve Jobs, right? We all know Steve Jobs, co-founder of one of the greatest companies in, human history, Apple. Everybody has an iPhone, or everybody has some type of device that Apple played a role in developing. Even if it's not necessarily an Apple product, I guarantee that the technologies that Apple innovated and really invented and brought to the world on a global scale played a role in its development. But nonetheless, Steve Jobs himself actually got fired from his own company. So just imagine that you put your heart, mind, and soul into developing and building a company, and one day you get fired, and it's almost like you hit rock bottom. You face a catastrophic collapse, and everything just kind of falls. This fall was so transformative, and this fall was, I would even say, needed, because it gave Steve Jobs the opportunity to come back and reconstruct not only the brand, the company, but also his own life, and really take things to a whole nother level that allowed Apple to succeed in a never before seen way. In 1997, I believe, Steve Jobs returned back to Apple. This was a major turning point for the company, because right when he got back, it was time to start reconstructing. It was time to, build up right where he had, left off. And I believe when Steve Jobs came back to Apple, he was more focused, He had a clear mind. He had a clear cut vision. He knew exactly what he wanted to do. I believe he wouldn't have had that mindset if he didn't fall, if he didn't get fired, if he didn't kind of collapse, get kind of dethroned, or, kind of taken off from the pedestal he may have been on. It put him in a whole new mindset of, okay, to get back to the top or to take my company to the next level, something has to be reconstructed differently. And that's such a beautiful thing to think about, because, when we do things, regardless of how many tries or how many attempts it takes, and we get to a high level, we think that that is the best way to go about it until it doesn't work. And, we kind of get kicked off our high horse. And, you really start to understand that, especially in business and really in any kind of situation, there's multiple ways to get a job done, and there's more efficient ways to complete tasks and figure things out that could be better for the overall purpose, or just better for you as an individual. So when Steve Jobs came back, that's when these revolutionary items, that Apple's revolutionary products, were brought out to the world, like the MacBook, the iPod, the iPhone, the iPad, all of these, transformative and revolutionary items that changed the world forever. It wouldn't have happened if Steve Jobs didn't get fired. I believe that these items, these products, only would have been created if Steve Jobs had got fired. So I don't believe that Steve Jobs necessarily rebuilt Apple as a company. I think the better word that we can place there is he reconstructed Apple into something that we never seen before. And this whole story has a lot of, deep meanings and deep messages that you can kind of take out of it. But one of the most important, I feel like, is when you fall and it's time to come back and rebuild and reconstruct the things that may have been broken down or demolished. Don't just come back stronger, come back wiser, come back sharper, come back with a new plan, a new structure, a new system. Just like everything that we as a company and Lost Genius Society embrace, when you feel lost, or when you feel like, you might not know where you're going, instead of running from that feeling, embrace it. Really feel what it's like to, hit rock bottom, really soak it all in and learn from everything that it took to get you to your high point, and everything that happened in between from you being at your highest point and falling back down. Steve Jobs, he didn't come back and just rebuild the old version of himself. He didn't rebuild the old company. No, he came back as a new version of himself. He came back and reconstructed a new version of Apple. More importantly, these videos are going to slowly start to all connect and really make sense, because Steve Jobs wasn't chasing success. I believe Steve Jobs was chasing his purpose, and that's why everything kind of fit exactly how it was supposed to be. When you put all these pieces of embracing, feeling lost, or embracing the demolition, and then you add that with persistence, resilience, never giving up, and then you mix in like discipline, consistency, staying motivated, and then that you sprinkle in that strong factor of your fire, your purpose, your why. Everything starts to correlate, and everything in your life just kind of evolves into exactly what it's supposed to be. And truly, I believe you become the best version of yourself because you're doing everything that you want to accomplish. It might not be exactly the way you envisioned it happening, but that's the beauty of it. It's all about the journey. This whole idea of, collapse, demolition, falling, feeling lost, hitting rock bottom, the F word, failure, right? is really deceiving. It's an illusion. Because truthfully, failure is the blueprint for your next breakthrough. Let's break it into, kind of 3 phases of this whole idea of reconstruction. First you wanna demolish. You wanna demolish bad habits. You wanna get rid of, mindsets that, aren't really adding value or positivity into your life. It could even be like relationships that really not serving you in a beneficial manner. Instead of, keep patching up or taping up or, putting bandages on these holes that we have in our foundation, let's just demolish it. You know what I mean? Let's just, sometimes in life, even if we don't do it by ourselves, in life it just happens on its own where, everything kind of collapses and, we kind of fall to our demise. But it's okay. Like stated before, let's not be scared of that. Let's embrace that opportunity as another chance to, rebuild these mindsets, these habits, these relationships into something stronger, something more long lasting. And like I said, next will be the blueprint. If anyone that's ever broken down a house, they didn't come back and, just say, hey, let's, the house before, it wasn't sufficient. They had a lot of tweaks in the foundation. The foundation was cracked. The roof had patches and holes. So let's just come back and rebuild the house the exact same way. They don't do that. Anybody that's ever rebuilt the house, they never came back and said, let's do it exactly the same as it was before. No, they renovated it. They added new details. They may have had a different approach in the materials or the structure or just the whole game plan. You know what I mean? My whole point with this blueprint idea is to let's design something new, something more original. Let's take a new approach and really tune in from everything you learn from past experience and previous, situations to really focus on the idea of, okay, this is what happened before, but this is the person I want to be today, and this is who I want to be in the future. This is the type of life I want now, and this is the type of life I want having going forward. Really ask yourself and really focusing on these ideas when, kind of reconstructing and replanning everything that's going on to your blueprint. And then, lastly, probably the simplest step, and remember my previous videos, because it's simple doesn't mean it's not going to be difficult. I would say that it's all execution. At this point, it's putting in the work, putting in the effort, step by step, brick by brick, action by action, day by day. Let's rebuild everything that, fell to the ground and crumbled and turned into crumbs. Let's rebuild it, and let's take it slow. Being genius isn't taking monumental leaps, it's taking it one step at a time. Being genius is taking those small lessons and, those small kind of successes and staying consistent and building them on top of each other and stacking them until you have a foundation that's strong and, everlasting. It's beautiful because everybody wants to be transformed, but nobody wants to be unmade. You know what I mean? Hear me out. Like, truthfully, that failure, it's gonna strip that ego away. Those losses, they teach you what truly matters in your life. Even if you hit, rock bottom, at least you have a solid ground to kind of build up on and rebuild on. When things start going rough in our lives and, we may feel lost or we may feel like everything is crumbling down, we're not broken. We're just under construction. You know what I mean? And what comes out of that is not a rebuilt version of yourself, but a redefined version of you. We're not put on this world just to survive. You know, we're meant to thrive, but the only way we can thrive is through hardship and through failure and through difficult times, because that is the only way we can be rebuilt and reconstructed into something even stronger. Ultimately, you know, we're here to reconstruct with power, with purpose, and with the vision. We need to start looking at these things for how it is. You're not starting over, you're starting with experience. Just keep that in mind, because with this type of mindset, you will have the opportunity to rebuild any factor of your life into something extraordinary. But yeah, man, that's all I got for the video. Y'all be safe with y'all tools during this reconstruction, and you know, don't be scared of the loss or the fall. You know, embrace it. Truly, everything gonna be all right, and take it as a chance to grow. But I hope y'all enjoyed the video, man. If y'all enjoy this type of content, make sure y'all hit that like button, smash it with a hammer. You know what I'm saying? And hit that subscribe button as well. Check out the new merch. Website gonna be right here, LostGeniusSociety.us. Check out the Instagram for our business, Lost Genius Society. Get you some new merch, man. It's going fast too, so you don't want to miss out. If you want to check out my personal page, all that's gonna be linked in the description. I hope y'all have a beautiful day. I'm gonna catch y'all in the next video. Remember, stay genius, keep dreaming,